Hello and welcome back, Realty Pros. Thank you all for joining today's Realty Talk. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. And so we're going to go ahead and we are going to get right into today's training. We are, so I guess as kind of maybe a recap of previous training, and this was something that Angela did last week during our mastermind training. We're kind of, as I had mentioned earlier, and hello, Ashayla. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So I had mentioned, that we have 2 more months in this year in 2024. And we are also going into the holiday season. And, so people get really busy during this time of year. We get busy during this time of year. And Angela was speaking last week as it pertains to, making connections or prospecting, in this season. And we all are aware that we are in the last quarter of the month of the year, and we don't want to stop prospecting. There's no time I would say that we should stop prospecting or think, oh well, the year is ended, and so I'll go ahead and I'll relax, because what we're doing for this year, although you're very capable even on the 31st day of October to be able to get a buyer and or seller and get to closing by the end of the year, even if that is not the case, what you're doing is you are building your pipeline for the first quarter of 2025. So we don't want to stop exposing ourselves, getting ourselves out there, making connections. And Angela had actually given us a challenge last Thursday, and she gave a lot of suggestions of things that we can do to make connections. And so we each made a decision as to what that challenge was going to be for us. And so I'm hoping that everyone was able to meet their challenge. And even if by some chance you did not meet that challenge last week, don't let the challenge go by the wayside. Definitely go ahead and meet your challenge for last week. So I wanted to just, in that same vein, kind of just let's talk about meeting people where they are, which is still in the same, on the same topic of prospecting. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this is going to work. Okay, let me do this. Okay. So hold on a minute, because, okay, well, we'll just start here. We'll start here. Let's do that then. Let's just, all right. So, and just kind of, let's talk about, ways that we're going to engage with people. And I understand, some people, and which is really great. That is such a great thing, that holidays are the holidays, but that's not the only time that you engage with your families. You guys are very conscious and, about making connections throughout the year, so that the first time that you see someone, or maybe the second time you see someone throughout the year, would be during the holiday season, or during a holiday. That's really great. We want you guys to expand your connections, not only with your families. Those are very important, and they are great connections, and they're necessary. They're needed connections, to have support and be able to be a support. And that's real. And relationships are just great. It's not good to be alone. So But what we want to look at today is we want to look at making intentional connections for the rest of this year. What is that going to look like for you? What efforts do you need to put forth to be intentional about making connections? What things can you do? What activities can you be a part of that allows you to make connections? And not always are those connections going to be connections that lead to business, but or immediate business. However, you are still showing yourself to be someone who is caring. And it's hard also for some people during this time of year. It is really, some people struggle through this time of year, you know. And so not everyone is excited about the holiday season for whatever reason. You know, some people really do struggle. And we don't want those people who perhaps struggle through to, if there's something that we can do, you know, to help them to manage and to get through this season, we absolutely want to make sure that we are doing those things that we're able to do. Okay. So we're in this season, and always, not just for the holiday, but always we're trying to make and nurture connections that can be long-term connections. We don't want to, even when we are in a transaction with a buyer and or a seller, our intention should never be, I'm just going to, you know, I'm in relationship with this person for this transaction. The intention should always be, I'm have the opportunity and the privilege to work with this person and build connections that will lead us into a lifelong relationship. And what that relationship looks like may be different from one client to the next. However, that's not an individual that you necessarily want to lose a connection with. So during this time, you know, we want to make sure that we're intentional about the connections that we make. We want to do things that perhaps are, you know, just things that allow people to see and to know that we, or just little tokens, or, you know, that allows them to see and know, you know, that they are thought of, you know, that someone is thinking about them. So those are the things that we, and in that, when we're looking at that, we look at tactics for building genuine connections. So let me ask you this. Can you take yourself off mute and share, each of you take yourself off mute and share with us, you know, what are some things, help us, give us some ideas of some things that you do to make connection, whether it's something that you do intentionally or something that you've noticed that you do, and by way of doing that thing, whatever it is, you realize, oh, you know, I seem to make connection with people when I do this thing. So can you take yourself off mute and just kind of share with us what is one thing that you do that that causes you to make connections? And then if you don't want to take yourself off mute, then I might just be able to.
I was about to go. It don't matter to
Okay,
me.
thank you, Darren.
Yeah, so for me, when I work out, it's just I don't know. I think it's easy it's kind of easy when you put in a certain amount of work, or you see people from different walks of life just doing different things. It's pretty easy.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's that thing that you all have in common. You guys are both there for a specific reason. So it's easy then to make connection, because that is the common thread for you and the other individual. Okay, good. Shayla, are you able to take yourself off mute and share what is one thing that you do that you find helps you to make connections with others?
Well, I I can't really say because that's where I struggle. I've been in a battle with myself recently because I'm a people person, but I'm also much of an introvert and private person. So I listen to you guys for encouragement about how to, network and uh have that broader connection. That's I think where I struggle a lot. So I have no advice for that. I have my network is pretty much work, church, and that's it. And that's how far it goes right now. So I have challenges with that.
Okay, thank you, Shayla. Thank you for sharing. Um, but I'll guarantee you though, even with that, and just like you said, you're a people person, you just don't know maybe what approach to take. You probably are, I'm sure you are making connections anyway. You just maybe aren't necessarily conscious of what it is that, you're doing that, uh, you know, initiates those connections. Winifred, how about you? Are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I'm with Shayla. I've noticed that I'm a transplant here in this area, but I have been here over like a certain amount of years, and I'm noticing that the people I have made connection with is because it's either through work, real estate, or something like that. I typically I feel like I'm an approachable person, but I'm only gonna get so close, and then after that I'll be like, okay, it is what it is, because I'm doing my own thing. So I am working on more of the networking, more of being, because people be like, oh, you got the personality to be a realtor. I'd be like, okay, but I really don't like putting myself out there. I guess that's how you say it. So I am working on that part. So I definitely know what Shayla is experienced, because I'm in the same boat too. So yeah.
Yeah. But so Winifred, let me ask you this though,
Mm-hmm.
because your real estate business has changed a lot since just, even this year, right? And so, and I'm assuming that some of that has to be because,
I picked up the phone. I made a decision, just picked up the phone, started calling folks. So I feel like the reason why it changes because I was like, forget it. Who gonna tell me no? They gonna tell me no, and I'm gonna keep moving. But am I scared every time I do that? Am I nervous? Absolutely, absolutely. But the fact is, I want to go on the trip, so I'm gonna pick up the phone and I'm gonna call somebody because somebody needs to buy or somebody needs to sell a house. So I just made the decision like, okay, forget the rejection. I had to realize they're not rejecting me. They may be rejecting what the real estate, but it's not me. I didn't take it personal. So I've learned not to take it so personal now. I used to take it personal because I'd be like, oh my God, they're rejecting me. Oh, it's because what I look like. Oh, it's because how I talk. I'm not from this area. No, When I decide, hey, look, God gonna put who need to be here, and we gonna go from there. And I didn't even notice some of the stuff I was doing like years before. People had already made a decision. Oh, I'm gonna use you as my realtor. And so this year that manifested from what I did years before, sending emails and sending out those magazines, and I did some cards and stuff. So I just made the decision to not let that fear overpower me. But I do be scared, Miss Anita. I ain't gonna lie to you. I be nervous.
but Winifred, so I love what you are saying because I think I know for myself, it is the exact same. So I'm a combination of both you and a Shayla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I am an introvert myself. Um, and for a long time, I was, a secret agent because I just,
Mm-hmm.
even, I I knew I wanted to do business, but I wouldn't allow myself to take the plunge and to just, offer myself. right? And offer the services and the knowledge and the expertise that I had, right? And I did get to the place where I was like, you know what? And I realized, just like you, Winifred, like they're not rejecting me. Don't take it personally, even though that is hard sometimes
It's
not to
hard.
do, right? Because we're human beings. However, you know, it's not a personal, you know, they aren't ready yet, and that's okay, you know, on to the next person, right? And so that's really good, because this is the thing, is that we have to make the decision to put ourselves out there so that you know, people will actually know, number one, who we are, number two, what we do, and then you know, we're able to share with them. And so when they're making a consideration, it'll be top of mind for them. We will be top of mind for them. So you're not only making connections by way of simple conversations. I'll tell you what my husband is an absolute expert at. And this is something that I made a conscious decision to work towards. And I'm not at good like he is, but I don't understand. My husband can meet you for the first time and he can seriously have an hour-long conversation with you. And I'm like, what do you talk about for an hour? You know, but you know, he can have a conversation with you, he can engage with you for that long. And a tip, I believe Angela had mentioned something in a way to be able to like open up conversation, is to maybe ask them, if you ask them, you know, something that perhaps you want them to ask you. For instance, what do you do? People love talking. If they have children, they love talking about their children. If they have grandchildren, they love talking about their grandchildren. Um, they have a job, whether they like it or not, they will absolutely tell you about their job, you know, because if they don't like it, they're going to tell you everything they don't like about it. If they love it, then they're going to tell you all about it. So that's ways to be able to engage with people as well. Shayla, yes.
I just want to say, yeah, thank you both for sharing your experience. I think that like Winifred said, and like you said, you just got to make the calls. I don't have challenges with talking to people. I'm very much a people person. My challenge is just not being motivated sometimes, because, you know, it takes energy, right? I work with people. I have 2 little ones. Sometimes I just don't want to deal with people. But at the end of the day, like Winifred said, you got to make the call. You got to make the connection. And it's just about putting in the time and the effort. So thank you both for reminding me of that, because if I don't take the time and put in the effort to have the conversations and the connections, I'll still be where I am and where I've always been, and it'll be struggling. So thank you both. I got to make that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so not only, you know, the check-ins, holiday check-ins, that's what we can do. That's, you know, simple, warm messages that show you care without pressure, right? So you're not calling them up and saying, hey, you know, let me sell your house, or hey, you need to buy a house. You know, you're just checking in and saying, hey, you know, especially now, this is like such a great time because this is the holiday season, right? And for me, I am very big when it comes to the holiday, right? I mean, I am going to decorate everything that I could possibly decorate. I mean, I really get motivated towards the holiday, right? And so, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you're talking about real estate, but if you ask me about the holiday, I always wanted to have traditions in my family. So I make a point, you know, every year we're going to do the same thing, some same specific things, because I want this tradition, right? And then I'm looking for new traditions and things like that, right? And so, you know, people will start sharing those things with you, right? And then you can even make suggestions. Oh, well, what are you doing for the holiday? Or, you know, whatever, you know, and that even as pertains to like community events, you know, you can invite a client to a community event, you know, a holiday open house or a seasonal activity, you know. It may be something like, for instance, you might decide you're going to go over to the, what do you call it? What is that? We went last year and we had a ball. it's not the pumpkin patch, but you know, like the fall festival. It could be a fall festival. It could be the, what do you call it? The, where you go through the maze, pumpkin maze and all that stuff, try to get through. And they have all these activities and things like that. It could be something like that, you know, hey, let's go and do that. Or especially people who have children, you know, I will go there, you know, without a child, but you know, there's all kind of things. And then if you know, go to church or whatever, if your church is having an event, definitely reach out and let people know, hey, you know, what about this? Or are you, I'd like to invite you to this or whatever, you know? So those are things that you can do. And then, and again, it really isn't necessarily things that are pertaining to real estate, but it is definitely allowing you to make connections. Did someone unmute themselves? Okay. So you want to always have festive follow-ups, offer home improvement tips. This is such a great time. We need to be sending out something in constant contact because daylight savings time is Sunday. So if you want, you know, definitely you can send out something reminding them about setting their clocks back and changing the batteries in their smoke detectors. So, okay, hold on a minute, you guys. If you would like, please unmute yourself if you have something to share.
You had just said something about when you were talking about the change in the weather and the season and stuff like that. So it just made me start thinking about it just made me stop. I'm sorry about that noise.
That's okay.
But it made me just start thinking about like making sure I don't know, sending out things about how to save on energy right now instead of well, still how to save on energy based upon based upon the weather change and the things like that, or like you said, daylight savings or whatever the case may be, or even defects to look for in the house or things to look for to reinforce in the house around this time period, going into the winter time. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yep. It's great to be able to share those tips and ideas. And you haven't said anything about, you know, can I sell your house, right? You're just making sure that you're making that connection and you're keeping that person. The person knows that you're a real estate agent, but you're keeping that person, or they're making sure that they keep you top of mind, right? All right. So yeah, so you know, just it's all types of things that you can do to keep and make connections, right? All right. So in that also, we also, and part of that is providing valuable value beyond real estate, right? All of those things, we didn't say anything about real estate, but you know, we have shown value, right? Or we've shown concern, and we want to be able to bring our value to the table, okay? We can do small things, gift ideas, a small gesture, a holiday card, a festive recipe. You can put that in constant contact even, you know, you can just get maybe there's some type of dish that is a family tradition for you, or just something that you have had and you enjoy. Get that recipe, put it in a flyer and send it out to, you know, your contacts. That's easy. It didn't cost you any additional anything. If you wanted to do cards, you don't have to go to, I don't even know if they have Hallmark stores anymore, but you don't even have to go to like Costco and or Target or Walmart and get those cards. You can go to the dollar store and you can get cards. I went to the dollar store because part of my challenge was to send out 10 cards, you know, just saying hi, you know, or thinking of you. And that's what I did. I went to the dollar store. I got 2 packs of cards. There was 12 cards in them. I wrote them up. I didn't say anything about real estate, just said, I'm just, you know, reaching out to see how you're doing, you know. and, give me a call. And so that's what I did. So you don't have to, if your budget does not allow it, it's not like you have to go and spend a lot of money. That's not necessary. It's about, people don't necessarily care that you spend a lot of money. What they want to know is, though, that you are caring and concerned about them, right? Because you can give a gift every day, but if your heart is not in that gift, it doesn't mean anything to them. So we're trying to make sure that we show ourselves as people who are concerned and are interested in making a connection and a relationship. You can also give, this is very valuable as pertains to real estate neighborhood insight. You can, even if you're, like if they're having some event in the community, definitely you can send out flyers to your neighbors, or even go and just drop a flyer, just reminding the neighbors. You could do daylight savings time. You could do winter rising things, or maintenance, winter maintenance. You can do activities that maybe are occurring in the upcoming months, and just take those out. There's so many things. You don't want to limit yourself. There's so many activities and ideas that you can do throughout the rest of this year. And then, of course, there's always volunteer opportunities for you to take advantage of. We're having, and I'm excited and I'm happy about us being a part of, for this Porterhouse as a brokerage, being a part of the Project Give Back. We're going to be doing that. And so, definitely, and there's other places, where you can definitely go and you can volunteer. You can also, again, like I said, sharing your expertise, home tips for winterizing, that's holiday safety and hosting. I apologize, you guys. Sorry about that. All right. Anything else? Any other tips? Any other ways or ideas that you all can share with us, how we can show our value beyond real estate? So it may not necessarily be that you are showing your value as an agent, but look at all these other things that I can, share with you, and that can be valuable to you.
Something I just thought about is if I'm being a people's person, or learning people. I would say, like, if you know people who got kids, at this point in time, what is this, October? Whatever
The
sports they
last
in.
day.
Yes, well, about to be November. But in this time frame, if they got kids in college or high school, it's like that time for midterms or whatever the case may be. You can say, hey, just think about you and the family, and also wishing the young one, hope the young one might be doing well in school during this midterm time, or whatever. Because just actually asking about the family, or any little tidbits you might have picked up from them throughout the transactions or whatever. Like I said, just showing that you actually listen to them throughout that time period versus like keeping it real estate, I would say.
Right. That is a great idea. And people love when you are interested in the things that they're interested in. So they're interested, and they're always interested in their children. That's a really great idea, that's really good. Oh gosh, I had something in my mind and it slipped away. Hopefully
I
it'll
have
come back.
I have one thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure
Hey,
if I.
Marcus.
Hey, how you doing? How's everyone doing? Uh, I You can also try to find like certain events, like people live in like Prince George's County, or people live in like the DC, Maryland area. You can maybe go on like Eventbrite and just find like little events that will be like family friendly, for like, hey, these are some things that's going on in your area. stuff like that. Like nothing that would be like, you know, that you wouldn't really know about, but like if it's like a holiday gathering or like a uh some type of networking event or something like that that you may even show up to yourself, and you can just show or like, you know, maybe find like coupons and stuff like that that, you know, you might find like on Groupon or something like that. You could, you know, send those out to maybe, you know, things like Enchant come out this time of year where like the lights and stuff like that. Just stuff, especially people that may be from out of town, so they can, you know, just have some activities because, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, but, you know, some people don't know exactly what activities they can do. So just kind of find activities that you may like to do, or you may go to yourself and kind of send those out and say, hey, these are some things that are going on in your area, just letting you know.
Yeah, that's good, Marcus. I like that. And actually, my daughter-in-law, she just mentioned, I didn't even know, I didn't think about going on Eventbrite and just seeing what, activities are coming up, you know, and that's really a great idea, to be able to share with people, especially if you are, say, for instance, if you are, maybe wanting to connect with even your neighborhood or your community, you can find out what things are going on close to you, and you're able to share those things, with your community. That's a really great idea. And even, I didn't even know Groupon was around anymore, Marcus, but it is, huh?
Yeah, you can still get on Groupon and like Eventbrite, and it's certain things like another. Some people don't even know when their like community has like their day. Like some people have like I think maybe at the beginning of the fall they had like Akikik Day, and a lot of people that
Mm.
lived in Akikik didn't really know about it. But you know, that's something that you could send to people, or you know, if they have a certain, you know, I'm not sure if they have like Upper Marlboro Day or something like that. But like find out things like that, you know, for like families and stuff like they can go to, or like when like a fair or something like that is in the area. Just things like that you can find out, or like even if it's like haunted houses and stuff like that. That I mean, I'm not really a haunted house person, but you know, people like those.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you, Marcus. That's great information. That and information that you can share with someone else. Okay. Thank you. And then we want to make sure that we're balancing sales goals with relationship building, right? Because we don't want all of our conversations to be, real estate. Every time somebody see you, they're like, oh, she gonna talk about real estate. We want to make sure that we are balancing those conversations. We definitely want to be available, and we want to be able to share things as it pertains to real estate for sure. And we definitely want to make sure that we convey and share with individuals that we are prepared, and we would love the opportunity to be able to service them. But we don't want all of our conversations to be about real estate. So we want to make sure that we find the balance. And, what is the balance for one individual may not necessarily be for the next person. So that's also a way that you're getting to, know people. One thing that I uh, thought about, and this is something that I used to do all the time, and I still have to catch myself sometimes doing this. We sometimes get ourselves on automatic pilot, right? We get on automatic pilot, and so we see someone who say, "Hey, how you doing?" And you're not listening for their response. You just know that that's the polite thing to do, right? And so what we want to do is we want to, in order to build connections, we don't want to necessarily, we want to be conscious of not being on automatic pilot, but we are actually listening and engaged with the individual, right? So that, again, they know that you have an interest in them, right? So we want to make sure that we do that. We want to, so try to, be conscious when you're engaging with other individuals. You don't necessarily want to uh, give them some time, is what I want to say. And then use a softer sales approach, offering services only if clients bring it up. Um, And then I wanted to encourage everybody to practice your holiday check-in call. You know, it doesn't have to be a long conversation. It can be just, hey, you know what? You can just say to them, I'm just calling and I just reaching out to you. I'm making several calls and I just wanted to give you a holiday check-in call, or I just wanted to give you a fall check-in call, or, you know, just to see how things are going. How are you doing? How's the family? How are your children? How did they do, you know, in this last semester? You know, and then is there anything that I can assist you with? You know, and leave it open, you know, and then go on to the next person. Obviously, if they want to have a conversation, you definitely are available for a conversation. But if not, then, you know, just go on to the next person. Okay. And then the last thing I just kind of wanted to just share with us is I wanted to share with us tips to making connections. And I went in and I, you know, said, okay, what are some tips, you know, that can help us? And Shayla had mentioned this, you know, right? So here are some tips for you for making connections. Okay. Obviously, and I don't think any of us has this problem, be authentic, show yourself, your true self. People appreciate honesty and vulnerability. So you may have to expose a little bit of yourself, you know, because people want to know who they're dealing with, right? And then you want to listen actively, pay attention to what others are saying, ask follow-up questions, and show genuine interest in their story. So these are things that we've been talking about. So, and Darren had mentioned, you know, ask about the children and, you know, find out how they did in school and, you know, what are they doing for the break or whatever, right? Find common interests. Darian mentioned this as well, you know, going to the gym. That is a common interest. Look for shared hobbies, experiences, or values. This can provide a solid foundation for your connection, right? Because it's a lot easier to connect with someone by way of some type of common interest. Okay. Use open body language. Maintain eye connection, smile, and keep an open posture. This signals that you're approachable and engaged. And then we can also share personal stories. Again, that's, you know, making yourself vulnerable. Offer glimpses into your life, sharing experiences that can create intimacy and encourage others to open up. You might want to, of course, you want to be present. Put away distractions like your phone. Being fully present shows that your value and time spent to get, or that you value the time spent together. Because we definitely, and Mr. Porter has already burst the bubble of multitasking. That's not what we do. We just shift our attention from one thing to the next. And so we may as well stop trying to multitask and, you know, be present in the moment. A person really appreciates that. Follow up after meeting someone, send a quick message or check in later. It shows that you're interested in maintaining the connection. So it might be someone that you met, you all exchange contact information. You could just, you know, follow up with a quick text or, you know, saying, hey, it was great meeting you. I would love the opportunity to be able to meet up with you again, you know, especially if it's something that you all have in common, you know, some interest that you have in common. Be supportive, offer encouragement and support when appropriate. Being there for someone can deepen your bond, okay? And then you want to participate in group activities. That's always great. Engage in group settings can ease pressure and foster connections through shared experiences. Be patient, building connections take time. Don't rush the process. Let relationship develop naturally, because when you force it, it seems forced and it seems uncomfortable to both parties, right? And so you want to make sure that you are, just taking your time, that you're building the connection, and that will be a connection that you will have a lifetime, right? And then you want to remember that each connection is unique. Your approach should be based on the person and context. Okay. Are there any other tips that perhaps anyone may have for us that helps to build connections? Okay, so that's our mission in life, and not just for the holiday season, although we are going into the holiday season, the end of the year. We have such opportunity. We're going to be around people more now, closing out this year, than probably as far as groups of people are concerned. And so we want to make sure that we're present in those interactions, that we are making those intentional connections, that we're showing people that we care for them, whether it be real estate related or otherwise. And so we want to, and that will build a connection that perhaps will yield you business in the future, even if not, immediate relationship as far as real estate is concerned or business is concerned, but definitely future. Because some people, they're filling you out, and they're trying to determine, what your motivation is, what your intentions are, So some people you have to win over. Other people are ready to just jump in. And whatever the case is, we want to be able to meet the need. Okay. And I think that is all, unless someone else has something that they want to share. And if you do, please unmute yourself and feel free to share. Let me see. No, this is what I want. No, that's not where I want to be. This is where I want to be.
One of the things I'll say as it pertains to that information, Anita, was outstanding first and foremost. And I'd encourage us to use these points for connection in our everyday life. So of course, in what it is that we're doing to prospect for the holidays, but these are things that we should even live by. So outstanding to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Thank you so much. And welcome, Mrs. Porter.
You are so welcome. Great job.
Thank you so much. Yes. So I wanted to, with that, because today is Halloween, and, people they will celebrate Halloween as, what they understand Halloween to be. So whether that is costumes or whatever, or fall festivals or whatever it is, right? And so what we're going to do this evening, we're not going to be coming into the office, but we are going to be allowing everyone to, practice making these connections. So, whether that is you have children and you're going to be going to out trick-or-treating, or, a fall festival or whatever, see how you can make connection. Don't make it a stressful situation, because it doesn't need to be, right? Just see how you can make connections with people, right? And so we want to allow everyone that opportunity this evening to do that. That will be a lead locomotive for this evening. I also, as I had mentioned to you before, you guys take this opportunity to create or we probably have, I'm sure we do, in Constant Contact, we have flyers for daylight savings time. That's a way that you make an unspoken connection with people. Go in and send out those flyers for daylight savings time. We, again, as I mentioned, we are excited to be a part of the Project Give Back, to be able to volunteer with that organization, Project Give Back. And as Mrs. Porter had mentioned before, Mr. Porter was a part of the creation of that nonprofit. And so that's something that they've been doing for years, and they have allowed us as the brokerage to join in with them. So we're excited about that. We do have, you know, quite a few people that have registered. You are definitely, I would like to, I need to submit our count by tomorrow. So if that is something that you are able to be a part of, please go register for that. It is a absolutely perfect opportunity for our young people to get their community service, some community service hours. So it's not only you who are volunteering, but it's teaching our children to give back as well while they are, you know, able to fulfill their community service time. And then also wanted to let you know that this weekend, Angela is hosting an open house, and the address is 2927 7th Street Northeast. And I didn't pay attention to what time that was. However, if you are able and if you are interested, please reach out to Angela. She'd be more than happy. It's from 12 to 2. And so she would be more than happy to have you to join her. And then let's see, what else did I want? Oh, vote, 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 vote. Go out and vote. If you have not voted, I do know that early voting ends today for the state of Maryland. It ends on the 3rd of November for DC, and it's early voting has closed for Virginia, but however, you are still able to vote even in Virginia. You'll have to go to your polling place with your ID and everything to, you know, confirm who you are so that you can vote. You'll vote on a provisional ballot. And I think that is all, unless someone else has something for us, any other information or anything. All righty then. If that's nothing else, then we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna let you all go. I want to challenge you to, and as Mrs. Porter said, you know, these are things that we should be doing every day. So let's practice and, you know, get comfortable with making connections, okay? You all have a wonderful rest of your day and a productive weekend.
Outstanding job, Anita. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay, you
Take it
too.
easy, everybody.
Take care.